He's getting older.
Everybody has affinity for cock.
Oh, hit the follow button.
But not wiser.
Excuse.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. I'm your host, Lefty, for episode for all episodes, really. Hopefully the Lefty Show. I made it the way I said it, made it sound like I was saying, I'm the host for this episode. No, Lefty Show, episode number 24. Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. I'm your host, Lefty. Glad to be here. Hope to put on a great show for you here today, May 29th, Thursday, in the year of our spaghetti monster, 2014. Welcome one, welcome all to the Lefty Show. I thank you all for watching, liking, favoriting, and subscribing on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it, helping the show grow. I thank you, everybody, for following me on Twitter at Lefty643. Keep you updated on the show and other stuff going on there. Thank you to everybody for donating. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can go if you want to donate to the show. Help us out there. It's a lot of people have been doing that, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all. If you want to go again, there's a link in the description. Go ahead and click on it now if you want to donate. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions is where you can go. Thank you all for doing that. You do help out the show with expenses and coming up here soon, hosting costs and all the things in between. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. I got a lot to do today. Recording the Lefty Show now. Going to have some PKA plays. Oh, thank you to everybody that's been watching PKA plays on my channel. It's been amazing. You know, a lot of people have seemed to really enjoy Civilization 5. I was really worried about it. I was worried that not many people would enjoy watching whatever you want to call it, 30, 45 minutes to an hour of Civilization 5. And, I know the common theme to that is just to say, oh, well, then edit it down, right? Edit it down, get the amount of time down, just get it down to the highlights and upload that. And then that will be really enjoyable. Nonstop action, everybody will really enjoy watching. And, well, that would be great for a 2-hour play session. I had 7 hours of HD footage. And this is not to say that I'm lazy. I mean, I am lazy. I don't deny that. I am certainly a lazy bastard. And there are some things that I just look at and I say, nah, I'm good. I will take less. I will be more uncomfortable. I will be poorer rather than richer. I will be sicker rather than healthier. I will be worse off because I'm lazy. And I accept it. And I say, you know what? I could run 5 miles a day. Have 6-pack abs, right? Fucking walking all over the joint. Hot stuff. Modeling. Whatever you want, right? I don't ab modeling, maybe. Whatever. Wearing nice clothes. Super awesome clothes. I could do it. I don't want to. I'm lazy. Could run 5 miles a day and be there in very short order. But I don't, that would mean waking up really early in the morning to go do that, to get it done, to make sure that it gets done every day. And doing it when my knees hurt because I have bad knees. Doing it when my feet hurt because I have bad feet and I get plantar fasciitis easily. I'm just like a walking atom bomb below the waist. Not in a good way either. It's just going to hurt. And, again, I could do it. I could deal with the pain, deal with all that. I did it plenty in high school. I had bad knees in high school, bad feet in high school, same thing. And I did it no problem because I was just like, fuck it, man. This is what I do. It's my job to be a student. It's my job to, getting ready for varsity baseball, whatever. It was my job, and I had no problem doing it, getting into that mode, getting that big stone wheel turning of in terms of, habit and habitual stuff. And it wasn't a problem. But now, running 5 miles a day to get down, get way down and get really, really super healthy about it. Nah. I mean, I work out regularly. I do 30, 35 minutes on the bike. I sweat my ass off. I hit the heavy bag. I do some push-ups, and I go on a 1.5 mile walk. That's good enough for me. I could do more, and I would certainly be healthier. I would certainly lose weight faster. Nah, not for me. I like beer, too. Could eat healthier. Certainly could eat healthier. Should eat healthier, probably, to obtain my goals. But no, I'll be a little bit more unhealthy because I like beer. I really like whiskey on the rocks now, or bourbon on the rocks, whatever. Whiskey, bourbon, scotch. It's like a weird combo. It's like the UK. Whiskey, bourbon, and scotch is like the UK, Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Britain, Great Britain, British Isles, Ireland, Republic of Ireland thing. It's like that. It's if you've lived it your whole life, it's really easy, right? If you lived in the UK or Ireland or whatever the fuck, I know there's some guys that are even like on the island of Ireland, the landmass, who don't like the term the UK because Northern Ireland is part of the UK, or maybe it's the Republic of Ireland that's part of the UK. One of the two there is part of the UK, and they're like, I don't even want to be associated. Like, come the fuck on, man. Jeez, which is why I use British Isles now. It's just like British Isles. That's what it is. I'm just saying British Isles now. You guys have broke your toy with respect to me trying to get it right. There are too many times I've said the UK, and people are like, oh, UK? I'm Scottish. I'm not from the UK. Okay, all right, well then fuck you, bro. British Isles is what you get now. That's what you get because it covers everything. I don't care if you're from Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, and Eastern Ireland, fucking up your ass Ireland. Scottish. I don't care if you're from Wales. Don't care. You're from the British Isles now. It's simple. It's a geographical landmass known as the British Isles. That's what I'm going to refer to. And that's with Scotch and whiskey. Scotch, whiskey, and bourbon. I think it's whiskey is the main, and Scotch and bourbon are two different subsets of whiskey. There's a main one. I think it's either whiskey or Scotch. Maybe Scotch is the main, and then whiskey and bourbon are the two differing subsets. I'm not even sure, but it's like that, and I like it. And so I enjoy it, having a drink or two, and I'm good. And I'm like, oh man, this tastes nice. It's all right. I like it. But I could stop that. I should if I want to, again, lose weight and get really healthy really quick, or at least faster. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I'm a lazy bastard, and that applies also to my YouTube in certain respects. I'm prone to ruts, but primarily when talking about editing down my worries about PKA plays as far as Civilization goes, which is just a long-form game, 7 hours of content. And that was a quick game. We got that over relatively quickly. 7 damn hours. I like being a YouTuber. I really do. And I work reasonably hard at it, I guess. But in terms of taking 7 hours of 1080p HD footage and whittling it down to a couple 10-minute videos, it's just not going to happen. I mean, other better YouTubers certainly would have the drive and the dedication to do that, right? I don't. I look at 7 hours and it's like, all right, edit this down. I want 3 10-minute videos out of this 7 hours. I want 30 minutes out of this 7 hours. I'll say, you mean you want the first 30 minutes or the last 30 minutes? What do you want? Because you'll get either the first 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes, or 30 minutes of shit in between. That's about all you're getting from me. If you want actual jump cuts at proper times to create and build a story, you got to go to somebody else. That's just not me. It's not what I do, or it's not something I'm prepared to do. It's like that guy from U.S. Marshals. Fantastic film, by the way. Wesley Snipes goes to as a defunct government agent, or a kite, not the other kind of kite, not the other word that rhymes with kite that is equally that is really offensive. But anyway, goes to a former friend from the military, I believe a gunnery sergeant or something, who owns a cigar shop, and he gets supplies from him. There's like a lockbox, and it's got money and tech and all this stuff. And the guy says, "Thank you for this. Is there anything else you can do?" Wesley Snipes says to his friend, and this older black guy, he just says, "I've gone as far as I'm prepared to go. I'll catch the rest on CNN." Right? I've gone as far as I'm prepared to go. You want more? And it's not happening. So I was worried about Civilization. And a lot of you have been liking and watching and favoriting and actually liking the video. And that's a pleasant surprise, and I hope you guys keep enjoying it. PKA Plays is something I really enjoy doing, and I hope to bring you more and more of it as we continue forward. So more PKA Plays. I think we got, let me check here. How many episodes do I have left? You guys are going to hear the click. You're going to hear that click again. And let's see. We've got, when did I last upload? I last uploaded part 3. So we got part 4, part 5. Wait, what? Did I? Oh, no. Anyway, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 left. I think I geez. I think I misnumbered my rendering. Oh, God, why is it the batch rendering fucks me? Anyway, more PKA Plays episodes. Plenty more to come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have yet to be uploaded. There's going to be at least one today heading on through the weekend. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make That's Not Why You Called this evening because Katie wants me to go help her buy a car. And so I'm going to go get to do that again and hopefully keep her from spending too much money and help her with the down payment, all kinds of stuff. So may or may not be That's Not Why You Called today. I'll keep you guys updated via Twitter while I am out and about. We got a lot to talk about today. Going to do a little news later on in the show, perhaps some Would You Rather. And, Wings of Redemption has been going off on the PKA subreddit. Reddit.com/r/PKA is where you go if you want to talk about Painkiller Already, a podcast I'm a host of. And Wings of Redemption is a former member and just been, talking a lot about how dislikes being removed from the show, thinks he deserves to be brought back on, and doesn't think he did anything wrong, et cetera, doesn't think he did anything deserving to be removed from the cast of Painkiller Already. And I'm not... I got to handle this with kid gloves. I really don't mean to pause and draw this out, but I said it earlier in the show. I'm going to quote the same guy from the same movie, same scene. I've gone as far as I'm prepared to go. I'll catch the rest on CNN. I'm not, you can help somebody as much as you can. In whatever ways you can, right? If you help somebody out that's got money problems, you're not a millionaire. If you're not a millionaire, it's you're still helping. Even though you are not a millionaire, you are still helping somebody with their financial problems. You're not fixing their financial problems because you don't have the power to do that. But if somebody says, "Hey, I need $500, bail, need to pay this fine, I lost my job, I need 2 months worth of car payments. Can you spot me 500 bones? Can you spot me a G note?" You're not, again, you're not Rockefeller over here. So you're not saying, "Don't worry about it. I've got you set up for life. You can do what you want." That would be the ultimate fixing of financial problems. But you don't have that. You don't have that capability. You don't have that ability to fix somebody's life. To just go in and, okay, good. Do whatever you want. That you no longer ever have to worry about this in your life. You don't have to worry about it. And that would be a great power to have in any respect. It doesn't have to be money. I don't know. Maybe your hitch, right? Maybe it could be a relationship thing. Maybe you could coach guys on getting women. But it's easiest just to think of monetary stuff because that's simple. We all know what money is. So if you're Rockefeller, it's really easy to fix somebody's life financially. But just because you're not Rockefeller doesn't mean you can't help somebody financially. Again, you need $500. I got $500. I can help you out. No big deal, right? Here's $500. Pay me back. You don't need to even sign a contract. You want a couple grand? All right. Well, now we're going to have to talk to, brass tacks here about a payment schedule, but I still got you. I'm still helping you out. Again, not fixing, more alleviating your financial problems for right now, but you're still helping, right? And so you help people out in whatever way you can. Even if you don't fix that person's problems, even if you are incapable of fixing somebody's problems, you still help out when you can, right? I was a smaller YouTuber. I am a smaller YouTuber compared to Wings of Redemption, right? And just because of that does not mean that I am not equipped to help him or even try to help him with his YouTube woes, which would happen endlessly to no end. There are some times we wouldn't start recording PKA until 2 hours after our scheduled start time because those 2 hours were filled with commiserating with Wings about YouTube issues and trying to help. Saying, hey, how about this? No. How about that? No. Well, you could this. Nah, I can't, won't, blah, 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 blah. And, again, just because I don't have 2 million subscribers and 1 million views of video where I can say, all right, Wings, I'm going to fix your YouTube issues. I'm going to feature you on a regular series on my channel and actively direct people back to you. Just because I can't do that doesn't mean I was completely incapable of helping in some way. And I tried. And I failed. Over and over and over and over again, constantly. And then to have that thrown back in my face in the form of after he was getting some heat for bailing out on the PKA survival trip, after he bailed out on that, after saying for months, yeah, I'm going, after they created the survival trip in part for him to help Wings of Redemption, and after bitching at me about not wanting to go from the beginning of saying, you're a bitch, you're a pussy. All right, okay. Guess I am. But I said it from the beginning. And after all of that, to have it said, and I didn't say a word about the whole, bitch, you're a pussy, and then I'm not going to go. I didn't say anything. I said nothing. I said, all right, whatever, man. It's like a battered woman. You just expect it. You just expect to get shit on like that from somebody at some point. And then to have it all thrown back in my face in the live stream when he was catching heat for that and saying we're not really friends. I'm not friends with the PKA guys. We're not really friends. We're just business associates, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that really hurt, man. And I was just like, that just broke it. A great, I guess would it be a metaphor that Woody, that I learned from Woody is you broke your toy. And that's great because it implies all kinds of, it's a kind of underhanded and talking about, you've got a childish mentality, you've got the intellect of a child, and it's great. And that's part of the reason why I love it. But, that broke the toy. I was the toy. Well, okay. Well, then fuck it, I guess. All right. I see how it is. And now there's renewed with vigor. Wings is going on in the PK subreddit about how he believes he should be brought back on the show, and how he didn't do anything wrong, and PK hurt him, et cetera, et cetera. And no, I'm just I wouldn't sign off on that. I don't. To that point, the toy is broken to the point that I don't think I would be able to, I would just walk away from the show. I would walk away from PKA before I would work with Wings again. And it's hard to say. It really is hard to say that because Wings has done so much for me. And my small way of paying him back was to try to always be there for him when he needed somebody to talk to about YouTube issues, whatever issues he wanted to talk about. If he asked me to talk, I always tried to make myself available. And I always tried to help as best I could. I was probably, going off half-cocked and going in the wrong direction, perhaps pointing him the wrong direction, but I tried. And I was there. And I really made an honest effort. If there was any case in which you could believe somebody that says, I made an honest this is one of those. I made an honest attempt to try to help my friend, Wings of Redemption, Jordy Jordan. I tried. And after no and no and no and no, and everything was no, can't, won't. And then I'm not friends with the PKA guys. I'm not sorry for what I did, and I don't even think I did anything wrong. All right, that's just that squares us. That squares us, and I would walk away from PKA. Sad as it is to say, I would walk away from PKA. PKA plays all of it. I would walk away before I work with Wings of Redemption again. And it's really hard to say. But it's just, at some point, you've got to look at the things in your life and say no more of this. In everything. Whether it be personal relationships, business relationships, your relationship with your government, whatever. The NSA, the whole thing that last year when all this shit started dropping from Edward Snowden, rock star Edward Snowden, this, and then, next week it was, holy shit, here's this new thing, and then midway through the week, oh my God, there's another thing, and more. Eventually, I would hope, at least, that the American people would get to a point where they said, no more of this. Just no more. I'm done dealing with this. I'm done allowing it to happen. I'm done allowing it to be done to me. And I'm going to say no more. And how do you do? Well, you could vote, I guess. That might help. No, it won't. Bloody revolution? I still hold out hope that I don't think American troops would fire on Americans, at least, because you're going to have to call up the National Reserve in terms of a civil war. Okay, it would turn into a civil war, and at some point, troops from some regional area would be forced to fire upon and engage in combat civilians from that exact same area. So we're talking about shooting at and killing and bombing, drone striking, waterboarding your friends, people teachers or knew, or people you knew in the community. And I don't think they would do that. I hope to that point. But no, revolution, not happening. So we're fucked. Essentially, we're fucked. But, what are you going to do? But still, the point to rear back and say, fuck you, no more, is important, at least for yourself, at least to have that point where you will say, I'm going to put myself before this thing, whatever it is. It could be small things, checking receipts. The other day, I tweeted about this. The other day, I waited in line. I was at Sam's Club. I went to do some grocery shopping. And it was about, it was 5 o'clock. There was a storm coming. Big thunderstorms coming through Chicago. And I saw that it was just a dark mass of clouds. One of those things you look at on the horizon and you see it, and it's not black as night. It's like a purple. And you're just like, oh, shit, here it comes. And sometimes, you can guess if you work outside, or you've got something to do outside, you can kind of gauge rain clouds and be like, is that going to get me? Is that going to hit me? I don't know if I can, maybe this will pass before the rain hits. This one was fucking no. This is going to be loud thunder claps and lightning and rain all over the joint. And so I wanted to get in and get out of Sam's Club before the rain hit. I just didn't want to drive in a huge thunderstorm. Not that it's inherently, not that it's like tornado weather, but just, yeah, I don't want to fucking drive in a thunderstorm. So I go into Sam's Club, boogie woogie through Sam's Club, buying my shit. And, hummus, pita chips, some frozen grilled chicken that I can heat up with some applesauce, and it's fucking delicious. All that kind of shit, right? Bought some shirts, Sam's Club shirts. Fuck it, $10, whatever. Do it. Need some summer clothes anyway. So I pay, get my receipt, and I know that they check receipts when you're leaving Sam's Club. You've got the cart, and they don't have bags or boxes or anything, and you're supposed to. They just kind of post somebody up there, and they ask for your receipt. You don't have to do. I'm going to make this point now. You don't have to do that. Okay? Your contract with Sam's Club ended at the register. Your receipt is proof of the end of your contract. Those are your things now, and you stopping to show your receipt to some asshole at the door is not part of that contract. You did not bargain for that, and nor was it implied. Okay, so you don't have to. From a legal standpoint, it's not like they can reasonably suspect shoplifting. No, I've got my receipt, but just because I'm leaving the store with goods is not reasonable suspicion for you to suspect I'm shoplifting. Fuck you. I don't have to stop. But you do it anyway because again, where's a point where you rear back and say, fuck you, enough? Where they just do it and you're just expected because everybody else does it. And then you say, well, no, I don't want to do that. They say, well, what's wrong with you, man? So anyway, I'm going. And it was about 5 o'clock. I want to get out of there, and it's busy, right? There's a line to leave the store, 6-7 people deep. Now, this is Sam's Club, right? This isn't like a grocery store where you go in and buy a stick of gum. You don't go to Sam's Club for one thing. Neither did the 6 people in front of me. But every single one of them had to have their carts checked, the itemized receipt checked against the items shown in the cart. I waited in fucking line to leave a goddamn store. I waited in line to leave a store. Leave a store with my shit that I paid for. And I'm pissed. So a second guy shows up and starts checking receipts. Oh, okay. And I get to him, and I'm pissed by that because it's been a couple minutes. And because I want to get the fuck home because the clouds are right overhead. And the guy's like, can I see your receipt? And I hand it to him. And I'm just, I'm wearing a puss because it's just, you fucking damn it, man. Why the hell? And I would like to if I could have a conversation with the guy, if I could say, I don't really have to do this. And I just waited in line to leave your goddamn store. And if he would have been like, yeah, I know, man. It's just bullshit. It's the higher ups. If I could have a conversation with that guy on that level and connect with him, all right, fine. I'll look for him. And when I see him, I'll be like, I'm going to stop for you because I like you and because you get it. Same thing with the TSA. If I could have a connection with a TSA agent while they're feeling out my balls without a search warrant or probable cause, if I could say, Fourth Amendment, blah, 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 they're like, yes, I know. And I'm totally against it, but I need this job. And this is one of the things that I've just got to do. And I really don't like doing it, blah, blah, blah. At that point, I will stop my spiel. I would stop it. I'd be like, okay, all right, go ahead and feel away. Because the human connection on that level is more important to me than the superficial, my rights, my rights, my rights. But I knew I wasn't going to get that with this guy. I wasn't going to get it. It just wasn't going to happen. And so I'm wearing a puss. I hand him the receipt. And he starts fingering through my items. He starts touching them. My food, okay? Now I know, what are you touching? It's they're my fucking food. My fucking food. And he starts touching them. And I say, excuse me, can you please not touch my things? And he says, what? As he continues to touch. And he looks at me. And I say, can you not touch my things, please? More forceful. And he says, okay, well then can you lift that up? One of the shirts I bought. So I lifted it up. He says, okay, can you lift that up? Points to another shirt in a different part of the thing. And I just motion. I'm just like, give me my fucking receipt. The guy's like, no. I'm like, give me the fucking receipt. So I just lift up the shirt. I'm like, you happy, motherfucker? He's like, yeah. So I just grab the receipt and walk out. I'm like, fuck you and fuck this store. Because at that point, I had enough. I've had enough. Again, I will, if I'm just one guy leaving and you just want to mark the receipt, fine. I'm there once a week, 1.5 times every 2 weeks probably. But, when it gets to the point when going along with the herd and not being, a nail that sticks up necessitates and in fact requires waiting in line to leave a store with my things, I'm gonna not be happy about it. I'm gonna not be happy, and I'm gonna use some language that might be offensive, and you're just gonna have to like it. You're just gonna have to accept it. If you don't, well then fuck off, because at that point, when I'm waiting in line 7 deep to leave a store with storms of brewing at 5 o'clock with refrigerated food items in 85-degree heat, I want to get the fuck home. I'm not waiting in line for your stupid bullshit that I don't even have to do anyway. I should on principle never ever stop. But I do it just to, because I don't want to have to deal with other people. But fuck you if you're making people stop 7 people deep at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday. People who just want to get home with their groceries, and you're stopping and going through itemized lists and touching their shit. So I said, fuck it. No more. Fuck you. Now, it's more of a figurative fuck you. Just to, and you make the middle finger and you just, no more. And I've had it. I've fucking had it with receipt checking. You don't make me aware of it at the register. Make me aware of it as I enter the store, and I got nothing to say. But when you on the out, when I'm leaving, when the only chance I have to see the sign is when I'm leaving from the registers, that's not part of the deal. Not part of the deal. Me stopping for your bullshit is not part of the deal. Make it part of the deal, and I got nothing to say. But until that point, nobody's done it. But we're just all supposed to accept it. We're just supposed to accept it and go. Just shut up and do it. No, fuck that. At some point, it's healthy in every relationship you have. Again, my relationship with the Sam's Club receipt checker, just to say, no more. Now, could it be said in a way that's not as fuck-filled? Could that be done? Sure, of course. And that's something that I should probably work on, is not going to 11 so quickly. Deal it up to a 5. Say, no, man, I'm not. Just give me my receipt, please. I want to go home. And then when they bluster, then bring out the fuck. Then you dial it up to 9, and then they bluster again. Then you go to 11, and you're arrested. But anyway, circling back to Wings of Redemption. I've reached that point, and I won't speak for any of the other hosts, or anybody else. But I will speak for myself in saying that, again, people are going to say, well, he helped you and that's it. Helping somebody does not give free license, does not give them carte blanche to just shit on you. It doesn't. It fucking doesn't. Okay? What are we, in Pakistan? When you marry a woman, can you bludgeon her to death and that's just totally cool? No, we're not in fucking Pakistan, okay? We're normal social, we're not backwards, archaic pieces of shit. We're normal humans. And, when you help somebody, you can't just shit on them and expect them to be there all the time and not say anything about it because oh, hey, I helped you. Remember that? No. That's abusive. That's what that is. That's chronic abuse. And I'm done. I don't wish ill upon Wings. I don't wish bad things for him. But it's to the point where I'd walk away from PKA before working with him again. And it's a sad truth, but it is a truth nonetheless. So let's do a little would you rather, shall we? Talking a little bit about halfway through the show. Would you rather be sick for the rest of your life or kill 2 puppies? This is from yourather.com. Go there for all your would you rather needs. Would you rather be sick for the rest of your life or kill 2 puppies? God damn it. These are so hard. Look, I love puppies. I love them. They're cute. something about their defenselessness or their oh God, what's the word? I'm forgetting it off the top of my head. But something about how exposed they are and how vulnerable. Something about their vulnerability is cute in and of itself. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means I'm a sociopath on some level because I see vulnerable people and I'm like, ooh, not sexual, but they're cute and they're playful and they've got, most of them have like charisma and they emote in whatever way dog can. I'm sure dogs can. I'm sure that most of dog emoting is just humans personifying them. But still, I love puppies. Being sick sucks so much ass. It is awful. Being sick, just a cold, it's awful. It is an awful, awful, awful thing. And I would with a smile on my face, I would kill those two puppies if it meant that I did not have to be sick for the rest of my life. I would, with a smile, I would say, oh, you mean this is the alternative, being in this awful, awful state for the rest of my days here on Earth? I'll kill these two puppies, no problem. Because they're just dogs, and most of their cuteness is me projecting it onto them. They're just animals. I don't like it. Again, I don't like it, but if I was faced with being in this awful, awful state for the rest of my goddamn life, bet your ass I'd kill those puppies. I'd kill the shit out of those puppies. Those puppies would be dead. They'd be dead. Would you rather eat bacon for the rest of your life or eat potatoes for the rest of your life? Look, man. Here's the deal. You're either going to eat bacon for the rest of your life and die at 35. I'm going to be 27 on July 14th. You can either eat bacon for the rest of your life and die at 35, or eat potatoes and for the rest of your life. I'm assuming you get other. I'm assuming in this thing, it's not just that you can take vitamins for other nutrients and stuff. It's not just, the only actual food you eat in any kind of prepared way is bacon or potatoes. Otherwise, if it's just bacon or potatoes, you're gonna fucking die either way. So I'm going bacon. I'm going out with a smile. If you gotta go with a smile. That's what I do. Because if you are a purist in your would you rathering, if you're going to say no, it's either eat bacon and only bacon, literally only bacon, no other food, no other nutrients, and no other fucking drinking anything, or eat potatoes, no anything else. Well, fucking bacon. I'm going, I know potatoes tend to have some water in them. They retain water, I think. So you could probably extend your life by a couple of weeks by eating only potatoes. But just eating potatoes, even if I could prepare them in whatever way I want, bacon. Bacon. Now, if we are going to go with you can supplement your vitamins, your vitamin intake with vitamins. It's either, again, die at 35 or live long enough until you can stop running off all the carbohydrates. Because if you eat nothing but potatoes and you don't work out enough, those carbs are going to turn into sugar, and that sugar is going to turn into fat, and you're going to be obese. It's going to be prolonged. You're going to live longer than you would if you just ate bacon, but you're going to turn obese pretty quick if you're not running. Now, if you run it off and you run, if you're not a lazy bastard like me and you can run 5 miles a day, then you can eat 3 potatoes a day or one potato a day, just cut up into thirds, and you'll be okay for a couple years. Sure. I don't like running 5 miles a day. I mean, Bacon. Bacon again. If you gotta go with a smile. It's that damn simple. If you gotta go with a smile. Let's see. Would you rather absolutely reek of armpits for the rest of your life or lose your sense of smell completely? I like smelling things. And smelling is directly tied to taste, right? I'm pretty sure. So if you lose your sense of smell, you lose your sense of taste too. Life immediately becomes bland. Fuck that. I'll reek of armpits and I'll shower myself in cologne each day because armpit smell, while many people think it's the funkiest of the funks, no, it is not the funkiest of the funks. The funkiest would be ball crud. It would be ball funk. Guys know what ball funk is, and it is awful. It's like a disease. You know when you've got the ball funk. If you sit down, right, and you arch a little bit forward and your legs are spread or just parted, and you take a breath, you're like, oh shit, ball funk. There's ball funk. I've got ball funk. Fuck. I got to get in the shower immediately. Where's the nearest shower? I got to go get in the shower to get rid of this ball funk. Armpit stank, while not very pleasant, is a normal human stank. It is. And it's not the worst. Ball funk from unwashed balls is the worst. So we're talking about armpit funk, which isn't as bad, as opposed to losing your sense of smell and your sense of taste completely. Fuck that, man. I'll smell like armpit and be like, oh, you smell. I'm like, hey, at least it's not ball funk. All right, let's do a little news. Got a lot to talk about today. President Obama, there's a plan that was recently come to light of military aid being used against, or military aid granted to police, civilian police, to be used against Americans. Talking about scientists are urging the World Health Organization to not classify e-cigarettes as tobacco products. And we got some more news from Pakistan. They made an appearance earlier in the show. They're going to be coming back for a little talk about that. And news and memos and an internal study release showed that Verizon has been up to some shenanigans. It's the news with Lefty. Here we go. The Verizon, much loved ISP because of their fiber network, Verizon Fios. Apparently really bad at customer service, I've heard. Like awful customer service. But anyway, a report, this is from TheVerge.com. This is, I'll just read the first few graphs of the article. Tomorrow, the FCC starts deciding the future of the internet. It's an emotional, controversial, drawn-out battle that has been building for years, pitting some of the biggest internet providers in the world against the government, American citizens, and virtually every denizen of the web. At issue is how or if the FCC will protect the internet's openness, free of special treatment and data fast lanes offered to the highest bidders. And while Verizon, Comcast, AT&T, and others have been clamoring to prevent heavy regulation from being considered this week, it turns out that communications providers have actually been working the system for years, using exactly this kind of regulation to their advantage. In fact, strict FCC rules have helped Verizon build a largely unregulated network, a network that's valued in the tens of billions of dollars. Today's New York's Public Utility Law Project. Fuck, that was rough. Public Utility Law Project. There we go. Pulp. Publish a report authored by news networks which contains previously unseen documents. It demonstrates how Verizon deliberately moves back and forth between regulatory regimes, classifying its infrastructure either like a heavy regulated telephone network or deregulated information service depending on its needs. This chickenery, I don't know. Just chisancery? I was going to say chancery, but that's not chicanery, chisancery. Anyway, this has allowed I'm just going to skip it. This has allowed Verizon to raise telephone rates, all the while missing commitments for high-speed internet deployment. It's a mess, and by all appearances, it's completely legal. Here's the deal. Here's how it works, right? In America, the FCC has the authority under the Communications Act passed by our governing body, has the authority to regulate telecommunications services. Now, if you're a company and the FCC deems you to be working providing a telecommunications service, they can classify you as a common carrier, or a telecommunication service under Title II of the Communications Act, which subjects you to heavy regulation on what you must provide, how easily, to whom you must provide it, how it's going to work, how it's going to connect to other telecommunications networks, etc. All these regulations for ease of the big nebulous, complicated thing that is any telecommunications network, and they classify you as that, and you're subject to that regulation. What also, you can get subsidies from the government to build out your telecommunications infrastructure. If you are classified under Title II as a common carrier, there are programs under which or in which you can get money, again, to build out your infrastructure. And as of right now, internet services, internet networks are not classified as telecommunications networks. They are not common carriers. ISPs are not common carriers running telecommunications networks. They are private corporations running information services, which does not subject them to all the regulation of a Title II classification. However, what that also does is it precludes them, or at least should preclude them, from getting government money to build out their internetwork infrastructure. However, what Verizon has been doing, given this pulp report published or authored by news networks, what Verizon has been doing is telling the government, hey, we are building out Verizon has a phone network, which is classified as a telecommunications service. So what they've done is they in order to run fiber cheaply, in order to run fiber along their telecommunications lines where they have all the rights of way, they have all the pipe laid, whatever, laying the pipe, hey-o, what they do is they tell the government, they say, hey, look, we need money for our Title II classified telecommunications network. Can you please, under this program, whatever, give us money for this? And the government said yes, but what Verizon was really doing was taking that money and pumping it directly into their FiOS build out, into their internet infrastructure build out, and that's apparently legal, apparently. And what it allowed Verizon to do is tell customers, hey, we're investing all of this money, because they really were investing billions of dollars. But they got that money from the government, not from themselves, not from their own bank accounts, not from their own cash holdings. And they spun it into, hey, we're investing in ourselves. We're going to have to raise the rates on you to allow for this telecommunications build out. And that's allowed under the law. And there's rate regulation under Title II classification as well. But if you take money from the government to invest in your own telecommunications infrastructure, under that you can also raise the rates on your telecommunication subscribers, because you're supposedly investing in trying to build out your infrastructure, right? And it's all good on principle. In a vacuum, it all makes sense. And it's like, yeah, that's common sense. That's a good idea. Good job, government. Yay. And it really is. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I like it. But Verizon has been using it to their advantage to build out FiOS, subsidized by the government, but still charge whatever the fuck they want to people who subscribe to FiOS. And the reason this is a big deal, the reason this is a really, 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 really big deal for those of you outside the United States, or perhaps in the United States, who don't understand why it might be such a big deal, is because this proves that, at least for Verizon, I won't say for everybody, but it kind of makes sense. Because a FiOS, a fiber optic network build-out, is probably a whole lot more expensive than your standard copper twist coax internet infrastructure build-out. What it proves is that Verizon can operate a solvent internet or internetwork, a fiber optic network, under Title II classification. They can do it. Because they use Title II classification to get money to build out their things and to say, hey, let us do it. And they do it, and they use the rights away and all these things. So what it shows is that a Title II reclassification, if Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, Time Warner, whatever else now, if they were all reclassified as common carriers running telecommunications network, and the internet was reclassified not as an information service, but as a telecommunications network under Title II of the Communications Act, this shows that Verizon can remain solvent, that their business model still works. So AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, who have said publicly, who have had CEOs and representatives say publicly that, well, if you reclassify us as a common carrier, we won't be able to provide all the things we do now. The only reason we're able to provide it is because we can invest whenever we want. We don't have all these regulations, and we can provide service to whomever we please, and we can charge whatever we want, all this stuff. But no, they can do it with, if you can do it with certain aspects of Title II, you can do it with Title II. Because when you do it with Title II, you're subsidized. And your subscribers, you know, the people you service, the people who pay the bills are subsidized as well because they're there. You've got antitrust protection, monopoly, all that stuff, anti-competitive protection. You've got it all. You can do it. So this should serve to hopefully get them reclassified by the FCC. But if it doesn't happen, what these documents should show is exactly how corrupt and bullshit the entire oversight system is. Because even with documents staring the FCC in the face, big flashing lights that might as well say, we can do this under Title II, if the guy who was the head of a lobbying firm for cable companies, who is now the head of the FCC, if the FCC says, no, they're information services, we're just going to kind of oversight them and they can create Fastlane. The whole system is corrupt and the whole system is broken, and voting ain't going to change it. Okay? I'm going to circle it back to that. If it's to the point, if it's corrupt to the point where the chairman of the FCC, who was a former head of a lobbying firm for cable companies, just so happens to now say, nah, still not common carriers, the whole system is fucking broken. And voting isn't going to change a goddamn thing. It's just not going to change a thing. In other news, this is from Yahoo News. It's from Lahore, Pakistan. The husband of a pregnant Pakistani woman bludgeoned to death outside of a courthouse murdered his first wife, he told AFP on Thursday, in a plot twist to a story that has shocked rights activists. Farzana Parveen was murdered on Tuesday outside the high court in the eastern city of Lahore by more than Lahore. It's like, will you get to me a Lahore? In the eastern city of Lahore by more than 24 attackers, including her brother and father, for marrying against her family's wishes. The brazen, brutal nature of the killing in broad daylight in the center of Pakistan's second largest city has triggered outrage around the world. Now Parveen's husband, Mohammed Iqbal, 45, has admitted killing his first wife. I was in love with Farzana and killed my first wife because of this love, adding that he had strangled her. Iqbal said he was spared a prison term because his son, who alerted police to the murder, later forgave him under Pakistan's controversial blood money laws. After admitting to the murder, he switched off his phone and did not respond to further calls. Rights groups have expressed fears the same blood money laws that spared Iqbal could be used to pardon Parveen's killers. Okay, I'm going to read off some other stuff for you here, just for you. Let me find it here. This is we'll just give out some numbers here. 1.36, 1.233, 1.50, 1.233, 1.2, 1.233, 1.3, 0.3, 1.2, 0.5, 1.115, 0.5, 1.4, 0.5, 1.6, 1.3, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, and unknown. Total, 11.76. That is the number. Those are numbers. Military and economic aid, respectively. Total, 11.76 from the years 2002 to 2011 in military and economic aid given to Pakistan in billions of US dollars. From 2002 to 2011, 9 years, Pakistan, okay, the same people, the same fucking people, the same that produce a story of the husband of a pregnant Pakistani woman bludgeoned to death outside a courthouse, murdered his first wife. And that woman was killed by a group that included her brother and father. Her brother and her father, more than 24 people, stoned this pregnant woman to death for wanting to marry outside of their wishes. $17 billion in aid. $17 billion. Now, look, you want to go be a backwards, archaic bullshit culture protected by whatever bullshit religion you have? Fine. Fine. No more fucking aid. Aid to these backwards, archaic motherfuckers needs to stop. Okay, now here we go. I can't believe I have to say this. Not all Pakistanis. Okay? Not all Pakistanis do this. I understand that. And I'm not saying they do. Not all Pakistanis do this. Not all Muslims, not all Pakistanis are Muslims, not all Muslims do this, etc., etc., etc. Not all. There's a standing order of not all when I'm saying this. Still no fucking aid. Because, here's why. All right? I know, well, not all. Why are you still butthurt? Here's why. Because the culture refuses to correct itself. The fact that this still exists in their culture means that the culture itself, the majority of people that make up that culture, refuse to correct for this. That makes that makes the whole cult, that sours the whole culture. Okay? It's just like Muslims. Who say, well, not all Muslims are radical fundamentalists who threaten to kill you. It's like, okay, well, why don't you tell those people to stop? Well, why don't you tell that? Why are you going to pray for that imam who proselytizes and who espouses radical views and violent views against civilians and innocent people and promotes murder and jihad? Why are you still going to pray to that imam? Well, I don't know. I only listen to the good stuff. Well, then no, fuck you too, because you refuse to do anything to help correct it. So to the same people who would say, well, not all Pakistanis are backwards, archaic shitheads who kill my brother, this is my sister, this is my daughter, I'm going to fucking stone her to death because she dared to try to marry outside my fucking wishes. And the fucking husband, yeah, I murdered my first wife because I like this broad. No. And if not all of them do that, okay, yeah. Well, then why are those people still exist? What are you doing to stop that? What are you doing to correct that? Because your society, your culture has enacted a law apparently in which if I'm a husband of a wife and we've got a kid and I murder the wife because I want to go marry some other broad and stone her to death, if the son says meh, then it's all okay. The culture refuses to correct itself. The culture is soured. Not just the bad apples. The few bad apples spoil the bunch, right? That cliche, that truism that we've heard our entire lives. It's true. It's true because, right, not all Pakistanis are backwards, archaic shitheads, assholes who would stone their sister, their daughter, or strangle their wife because they want to go marry somebody else and then get forgiven for it and be kind of okay with it. Not all of them are like that. But there's enough of them that a law gets passed to protect them, and also they still fucking exist, despite the majority supposedly seeing how archaic, because I think that some of the people that say, well, not all of us are like this, are just as bullshitty because they would partake in that shit if they were presented with a similar situation, because they're just as backwards and archaic and fucking Neanderthal-like. But anyway, with the majority supposedly seeing how backwards and archaic and wrong all of this is, these acts, not just these thoughts, these acts are, somehow these people still exist. Somehow, this brother, the father, and this fucking asshole husband are still alive. Still alive in Pakistan. The whole culture is sour. No more fucking aid. You want to go be backwards and archaic? Fine. Go be backwards and archaic. No more aid. You don't get anything from us. Because if we give them $1, if the United States gives Pakistan $1 after shit like this, it tacitly confirms all of it. It tacitly positively reinforces all this bullshit. No more. Stop reinforcing people's bullshit just because you don't want to offend them. Just because you're scared that they're going to go cry racism. Just because you're scared that they're going to go cry prejudice because they happen to be Muslim. Stop fucking stoning your women to death because you saw them driving a car or they wanted to marry outside of your wishes. Oh, so you're attacking I'm a Muslim and you're attacking my religion. Oh my God, I'm so offended. Well, then you know what? You're goddamn right I am. Stop being so fucking backwards or you're not getting any more money. Why should Pakistan, after a story like this, get any more money until shit like this stops for 6 months if there is no more? Look, here it is. The aid stops now, right? It stops. We say, all right, look, here you go, Pakistan. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to wait 6 months. If there was not one story like this from your entire province for 6 months, we'll be right back with the aid. We'll send a fucking conga line of ships. You want whatever you want. We'll send you boatloads of cash if that's what you want. If you want, some aid in monetary terms and you want that, we will send you a boatload of cash. That's what we'll do. But you get 6 months, and we don't want to hear a fucking word about anything like this. And if it does, if there is one story like this, another 6 months. Another 6 months tacked on to the first of no aid. And then for that entire period of length of time, and we'll get a governing body whose job it is, we'll elect third parties to overlook. We can go to the UN for this shit if you want. You can get your buddies to go pick whoever you want to oversee it. Okay? And at the end of that time period, if there's another one, another 6 months. And on and on and on until this stops. Because we are no longer going to respect your backwards and archaic culture and still give you aid. We'll respect it when you go do it and fucking whatever. But when you cry poor and say, oh my God, evil America won't help us, goddamn right we won't. Because you backwards motherfuckers stone women to death because they dared to marry whoever they want. You're not entitled to aid. Fuck you. Go cry racism all you want. Go cry prejudice all you want. You want to say, oh, you're attacking Muslims. Well, you know what? You still go to the mosque, right? Your mom says it's all right? Okay. All right. See how it is. Wrap up this story. We'll wrap up the Lefty Show. Final story. Scientists to the World Health Organization don't classify e-cigs as tobacco products. This is from time.com. The move by the World Health Organization would push 178 countries to impose tough restrictions on the products, which some scientists say provide a less harmful alternative for smokers. A group of 53 top scientists warned the World Health Organization on Thursday not to classify e-cigarettes in the same category as other tobacco products, a move that would lead to significant restrictions on the devices in most countries around the world. The scientists say that electronic cigarettes are in fact part of the solution in the fight against smoking because they can provide a healthy alternative to traditional cigarettes, Reuters reports. Quote, even though most of us would prefer people to quit smoking and using nicotine altogether, experience suggests that many smokers cannot or choose not to give up nicotine and will continue to smoke if there is no safer alternative available that is acceptable to them, the scientists wrote. The devices have exploded in use and spawned a $3 billion industry worldwide, but the scientific research on their safety and their potential to be a, quote, gateway to other tobacco products is still developing. If the World Health Organization were to classify e-cigarettes as tobacco products, a move they are rumored to be considering, according to Reuters, 178 signatories to the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control would be expected to impose strict measures on them to restrict demand, like raising taxes and banning some forms of advertising. The U.S. is one of the few non-signatories of the FCTC, though the Food and Drug Administration has moved to regulate e-cigs. The FCTC is scheduled to meet in October in Moscow, where it will consider any proposed regulations. Let me sum that up for you. We don't know what the fuck these things do. Should we regulate them like all hell? You goddamn right. The Food and Drug Administration, the FCTC, all these organizations have no idea what the fuck these things are or what they do, what their long-term effects are, but they're still going to try to remove them from society because they have decided for you what is good and bad for you. Okay? Because at the end of the day, what they're talking about, you know why cigarettes are so expensive? Is because the government wants you to stop. They're trying to get you to stop. They understand that it's bad for you, but they don't trust you enough to say, hey, maybe this legal adult, has made an informed decision and is completely aware of the harms of cigarettes and nicotine addiction and continues to do it. Despite us saying, hey, it's bad for you, and them knowing it's bad for them, they do it anyway because they're fucking adults. No, that's not enough. And so they tax the shit out of it. One, because fuck it, we're going to make money off you if you're killing yourself, which I can kind of get behind. We're going to make some money. You're going to kill yourself. You're not going to live very long, so we're going to make some money off you while we fucking can. And at the same time, we are going to try to coach you into not buying them if we make them extremely expensive. If we make them so incredibly expensive. What is it in New York? Like $10 for a pack of cigs? Chicago is something close to that. In downtown Chicago, you're paying out the ass. It's Cook County. You're paying ridiculous taxes out the ass for cigarettes. And the price of a single pack is insane. It's like $7, $8. And I think that's, it's just like, it's to the point where it's almost punitive, where it's not just we're going to make a little money because so many people do it. It's we are going to punish you for smoking. And it's a regressive form of tax, because when you use tax to try to keep people, to try to prevent people from doing things, citizens from doing things, perfectly legal things otherwise, I kind of have a problem with that, because it's like, well, fuck you. I want to put what I want to in my body, but you are arbitrary and capriciously, that is capricious. Your tax is arbitrary and capricious. You're just fucking with me just to try to get me to stop. Perhaps not as capricious, because you could make the argument that the government has a vesting interest in you living longer. And okay, but when you're doing it with somebody, not even for the tax revenue, because I'm sure they would make more money from taxes if they lowered the overall cost of a pack of cigarettes, because more people would buy more cigarettes. More people would smoke, but more people would be buying more packs of cigarettes, and they would make more money overall. But the reason they are as high as they are is because they're almost punitive, and they say, no, fuck you. We're going to try to get you to stop. We're going to price you out of the cigarette market. And you know what? I'm not a fan of that kind of social engineering. It's just, fuck you. Let adults do what they want. You don't do it to booze, do you? You tax booze, but you don't make booze prohibitively expensive. You say, shit, Americans like to drink. They like to get fucked up. Well, we'll tax it. We'll make a lot of money off of it, but we're not going to stop them from drinking. But for some reason with tobacco, you say, no, we're going to stop you from smoking. We're going to make it prohibitively expensive for you to smoke. And it seems just a little bit hypocritical to me. God bless America, as always. All right, let's bring it home. God, I love this blues riff. I've got a bunch of outros queued up, but I love this blues riff. I really do. That's why I crank it at the end of the show. Anyway, thank you all for joining the Lefty Show. I'll wrap it up here. Thank you to everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I had a great time putting on a show for you today. Perhaps again, and perhaps that's how I called later, perhaps not. I'll keep you guys updated via Twitter. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that has been sharing the show with your friends, families, and coworkers, helping the show grow. Thank you to everybody for doing that right now. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. I'mRacing.com/643 Productions. Thank you to everybody donating. There is a link in the description there. I've been your host, Lefty. Thank you all for joining. I'll catch you next time. That's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out. Bye. Everybody has affinity for cock.